Winter in old homes was never forgiving. Outside walls carried the cold straight into living spaces, and central heating was a luxury most families simply didn't have. Yet our grandparents found ways to make even the chilliest rooms bearable. One of the simplest, most overlooked techniques was how they placed their beds, and it made a measurable difference in warmth and comfort all winter long. Understanding this rule doesn't just give historical insight, it offers a practical method you can still use today. Position your bed away from the coldest walls to create a buffer of warmth. The first principle is deceptively simple. Never place your bed directly against an outside wall. In older homes, exterior walls were poorly insulated, often just wood or thin plaster, allowing cold to seep into the room. By keeping the bed a few inches away from the wall, sometimes as much as 6 to 12 inches, our ancestors created a small air buffer. This gap acted as a thermal barrier. The cold wall would chill the air immediately next to it, but the air in the space between the wall and the bed remained slightly warmer, preventing the bed from becoming a cold surface to sleep on. You can apply this today even in modern homes with minimal insulation issues. Simply slide your bed forward and create that gap. If the room is particularly drafty, place a thick rug or a low wooden board along the wall to further reduce the cold moving toward the bed. The key is maintaining a separation that interrupts direct contact with the cold wall. Use heavy drapes behind the bed to enhance insulation. Historical households often combined bed placement with vertical insulation. Floor-to-ceiling curtains or drapes behind the headboard weren't just decorative, they were functional. Thick fabric, sometimes lined with wool or cotton, trapped cold air before it reached the bed. The air between the wall and the drape remained stagnant, creating another thermal layer that kept the sleeping area warmer. Today, you can replicate this by choosing blackout or thermal curtains, even if you're not covering a window. Hanging them just behind the bed along the wall ensures a steady layer of trapped air. This simple addition multiplies the effect of moving the bed away from the wall, making the bed noticeably warmer on frigid nights. Elevate the bed to reduce heat loss to the floor. In historic homes, floors were often bare wood or stone, both of which conduct cold efficiently. Beds placed directly on such floors would lose heat rapidly, and sleepers felt the chill from below. Elevating the bed slightly, whether on a frame or with risers, allowed air to circulate beneath the bed. That circulating air acted as a thermal cushion, reducing cold transfer. For modern application, you don't need elaborate frames. Even raising the bed 6 inches can make a significant difference. Combining this with the wall gap strategy and drapes creates a microenvironment around the bed that retains heat far more effectively than a bed sitting flush against cold surfaces. Layer the bed with insulating materials that your ancestors swore by. Placing the bed correctly wasn't the only strategy. Layers really mattered. Historical families relied on heavy quilts, feather beds, and multiple blankets. Each layer added insulation, reducing the amount of heat lost to the surrounding air. The bed became a warm pocket, shielded from the cold wall, the floor, and the drafty room. You can take this principle further with modern equivalents. Wool blankets, down comforters, or even layered flannel sheets all serve the same purpose. The goal is to trap heat around the sleeper while minimizing contact with cold surfaces. Proper bed placement maximizes the efficiency of these layers. Small adjustments to the headboard placement can dramatically improve comfort. Our grandparents often positioned the head of the bed slightly away from the wall as well. In many rooms, cold air sank from the ceiling or crept in through cracks in the wall. By keeping the headboard off the wall, they allowed even minimal movement of warmer room air to circulate behind the bed. This simple adjustment made a noticeable difference in comfort during long, cold nights. In modern use, this doesn't require expensive renovations. Moving the bed forward, even by a few inches, combined with a thick headboard or a padded panel, replicates the same protective effect. It's a subtle change with significant results for anyone sleeping in a drafty bedroom. Combine these techniques with personal winter sleeping habits. Historical households paired bed placement with personal habits. Wearing a bonnet or nightcap, using layered blankets, and sometimes sleeping with an extra quilt tucked around the mattress edges were all strategies that amplified the warmth created by proper bed placement. You can take inspiration here without overcomplicating things. Wearing a warm nightcap or layering bedding according to the room's chill is enough to turn an otherwise cold room into a cozy retreat. The point is that bed placement alone works best when combined with simple, practical measures, exactly as it was done decades ago. How this knowledge transforms modern living spaces. What makes this rule so powerful is its simplicity and direct applicability. You don't need to insulate walls or upgrade heating systems. By understanding the historical logic and implementing it with minor adjustments, moving the bed, using drapes, layering bedding, you can transform even an underheated room. Consider a second-story bedroom with thin walls. Sliding the bed 6 inches forward, hanging thermal curtains behind it, and raising the bed slightly instantly creates a warmer microenvironment. In winter, the bed becomes a comfortable sanctuary, reducing energy consumption because you won't need to overheat the room to stay comfortable. For survivalists and historical enthusiasts, these strategies offer insight into how people lived efficiently with limited resources. They remind us that warmth isn't always about technology. It's about smart use of space, understanding thermal flow, and layering materials effectively. This simple bed placement rule is an example of historical wisdom that works as well today as it did in the past. By keeping the bed away from cold walls, using drapes, elevating the bed, and layering insulation, you create a warm, sustainable sleeping environment even in harsh conditions. Applying these techniques doesn't require extensive renovation, just thoughtful arrangement and an appreciation for the small, clever adjustments our ancestors relied on. If you found this guide useful and want more practical historical insights, don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom for the Journey. Share this with fellow history buffs and survival enthusiasts so they too can discover how simple historical strategies make modern life more comfortable.